Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Welcome to this installment of the Thrive Now Lab Live, where we are going to talk about expanding your relationship with you. And if you're new here, I'm Jenny Lynn Coley. I am a high conflict, high performance strategist. What the heck does that mean? So many things. So let's talk about conflict for a second. So, conflict is one of those really interesting things that seems like the problem or the issue might be with the other person or the circumstance or the situation or a group of people that you are seemingly coming up against, whether it be in the workplace, at home with family, with friends, in any environment. And what I want to enlighten you on, something you may or may not have thought about before, the conflict that we think that is happening with other people or other things actually has little to nothing to do with the other people or the situations or the circumstances. Conflict always starts here, right here, person standing in the mirror. Man in the mirror, as Michael Jackson would say, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Yeah, that's where that conflict always starts. And so if you notice yourself having conflict, coming up against conflict, angry, upset, annoyed, triggered in some form of fashion by conflict, I'm going to invite you to just take a pause and actually look at you, which I know is like the good news and the bad news and maybe not so fun to hear. But like, think about when you're maybe just like driving along and you sort of notice maybe in the periphery other cars passing by or trees or houses or like those things don't necessarily bother you, right? Maybe sometimes if you don't like traffic, which traffic sometimes has been a thing that has created conflict in my world, like feeling kind of like stuck and trapped and claustrophobic and wanting to get where I'm going, right? So we all have those little things. And thank goodness for committing to living pressure free to where it doesn't affect me in the same way anymore. Thank goodness. But like that conflict, when it comes up, is only coming up as a signal that something else is going on internally, right? It's information. It's sort of like a yellow flag or maybe even a red flag to like stop and say, "Hey, there's something else I need to examine here. Why is this bothering me so much? What's going on with me that I haven't healed, that I haven't addressed, that I haven't been willing to look at, that I've been ignoring, avoiding, and not taking care of, that I am allowing these other people, these other circumstances, these other situations to trigger me in such a way that I'm now upset. I'm now derailed. I'm now taken out of my happy mood. I'm now off on a whole other path and a whole other mood because I have given my power away to those people or to those things because nobody can take your power away. No matter how frustrating it might be what they're doing, they can't, right? Only we can give that to them. Only we can give it to those people or to those things. Teenagers have a very uncanny knack. If you ever spend any time around teenagers or if you have teenagers, they have a way of knowing exactly what buttons to push, exactly how to get under your skin, exactly how to drive you crazy, exactly how to trigger you. So, like, they can actually, if you're willing to receive from them and from that information, they can actually be some of your greatest facilitators in life for you to stop, pause, take a deep breath, and go, okay, what is really going on here? What am I really upset about? What's the deeper thing going on beneath the surface that I just don't want to look at? What is it? Right. And like, I know we all get busy and we don't necessarily always have time to, or we think we don't have time to stop, pause, take a look at those things. But like, if you truly desire to have peace if you truly desire to actually have ease in your life and have a life that works for you and a life without conflict, or at least a life where conflict and you being triggered by the conflict doesn't rule the day, so that you can actually improve your performance and productivity, so that you can actually have more downtime and have more peace and ease, you've got to start to examine these things, and you've got to start expanding your relationship with you. And it's so interesting because it's February, right? And Valentine's Day is coming up in a week. And that in and of itself brings up a lot of energies for people, right? Being in a relationship, not being in a relationship, going on a date, not going on a date, pressure to buy gifts. Don't even get me started on the whole like commercialization of the industry. And not everyone celebrates Valentine's Day around the world. I know it's a really big thing here in the US and in some other parts, but like it's one of those other distractions, and it's all about external things. A lot of things that are happening in our lives, and it's, it's programmed that way, right? From social media to, traditional media. Every system and institution is really sort of programmed to keep us distracted from what really matters and our attention focused on external things rather than where all of our true power really lies, which is with us. And if you do happen to desire to have a relationship, the number one most important relationship is the one with yourself, first and foremost. If you'd like to have success in any relationship outside of you, whether it is with family or a romantic one or with coworkers or people that you're collaborating with in a business setting or elsewhere, it all starts with your relationship with you and really beginning to truly understand you, who you are, how you operate, what makes you tick, what are your values, what's most important to you, what do you say you're committed to, and then what do your actions and your results in your life actually reflect that you're committed to, and do they match? Is there an energetic alignment there between what you say you're committed to and what you're spending your time and energy on? The places and areas where you're allowing yourself to be derailed, no matter how frustrating that thing might be, right? And I'm not saying don't have your feelings. That is not what I'm saying at all. Please, by all means, feel what you're feeling. I think like the only way to truly change something is to be real about it and to acknowledge what exists, because what you don't acknowledge doesn't exist. And then it becomes like sort of that elephant in the back of the room and that thing that you can never truly like get to or address or change. And so honor your feelings. What you do with those feelings and in reaction to those feelings is a totally different conversation and a totally different story. And so really like pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, putting your big girl panties on or your big boy underwear on, and like really starting to be brutally honest with you about where you're functioning from, how on track or off track you are, and maybe some things you'd like to change. And then also acknowledging everything you have created up until this point, really owning that you have done the best you can with all of the tools that you have up until now. And then like getting clear on where you would like to go. And just, challenge yourself even just for today. The next time you notice yourself getting a little bit annoyed, anxious, afraid, upset, irritated, whatever it might be, stop and pause before you react and ask yourself a question like, what is this really? What am I truly feeling right now? Why am I even allowing this to upset me? Is this going to matter 5 years from now? That's one of my favorite questions, because like often the times the things we allow ourselves to get upset about right now, they will not matter in 5 or 10 years. So don't make a mountain out of a molehill, right? And what action can I actually take right now that would create my desired outcome, my ideal, or results I'm maybe looking for? Like, what's one step I can take right now? And not about making the other person or the thing wrong, and not making it about making yourself wrong either. But like, what's one thing I can do right now to take a step forward in the direction I would like to go? Like knowing yourself is probably the greatest gift you could hand to yourself. And so, if you would like a tool and a way to start exploring that for yourself even more, I have this really cool 6-part video series that's called 6 Tips for Reinventing Yourself. And it is really all about like taking out all the judgment that you have on yourself right now, all the places where you're holding yourself back, giving yourself permission to thrive right here, right now, regardless of what you have or haven't done. And then starting to look at some of those areas of your life where maybe you can make some changes. Would you like to maybe start meditating more, or dancing more, or spending more time outside? Or, is it time to maybe read some more books or start surrounding yourself with different kinds of people? What is it maybe time to let go of? What other things can you add to your life? Where can you make changes and start to really honor you for the gift you are and create your life in a way that works for you? Because you are the valuable product and you are the one person that you take with you everywhere you go. I'm sorry, you might get annoyed at somebody else and you can get away from them, but you cannot get away from yourself. You're the one person you can't run from, right? And so rather than like sort of avoiding looking at these things or stuffing them in the closet or pretending they don't exist, like what if you were to really start to expand your relationship with you and get really clear on who you are, not who you've been told you should be, not what society says you should be, or well-meaning friends and family, or any of the other outside noise out there. And God knows there's so much noise now. And our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Slowing down to speed up is like one of the greatest gifts. It's like if you try to shoot a bow and arrow and it's not going to go anywhere. It won't go very far and it definitely won't hit whatever your target is. But if you slow down and you pull that thing back and you let it rip, that's when it's actually going to hit your target. And so I'm inviting you to slow down just a little bit. Because like the gift is in the pause, the gift is in the silence, the gift is in the slowdown. And the best part is this video series is only $7. And it comes with a PDF guide. It's a permission slip PDF guide that walks you through each of the days of the video. 1 video a day you get to your home play if you choose to get it. And start to begin that journey of getting to know you again and looking at, okay, so let me celebrate where I am maybe on track. And then maybe let me see what I might want to let go of and where I might feel like I'm off track, where things maybe aren't working in a way that works for me. Maybe I'm giving my power away to something or someone else I've committed myself to. How many of us take our commitments to other people and things like oaths, like blood oaths, and we will like whatever it takes follow through on those commitments, even if it means self-sacrificing, even if it means letting ourselves down. Well, that doesn't work. And that just creates more internal conflict, which is exactly where all of the conflict starts. So if you would like more peace, start to, whether or not you choose to get the video series, like just start to pause the next time you notice yourself getting upset, getting annoyed, getting frustrated, and just ask yourself a question and give yourself permission to not have to get it right, to not have to be perfect, but also not have to maybe stay addicted to that familiar feeling of conflict and stress, because that also can become really addicting. It can become chemically and physiologically addicting in the body, right? Especially if you've experienced a lot of stress and a lot of high conflict throughout your life. Like, like I need my fix kind of thing, right? It's like a dopamine hit and a rush, which is kind of insane when you think about it, but like that is how it can affect the body. But you can retrain your nervous system not to value that conflict, not to value those interactions, and to actually start to value and prioritize peace and silence and space and relaxation. So go try it. Make sure you pause, ask yourself some questions, see how else you can react or respond today. And if it feels like it might be fun for you to go down the path of reinventing yourself, grab the 6-part video course. Link in the comments. See you next time.